Welcome to this presentation. In this model, let us look into Intelsat series. Intelsat is a leading provider of communication satellite services. Intelsat was originally formed as the International Telecommunication Satellite Organization. From 1964 to 2001, it was an intergovernmental conglomerate that owned and managed a group of communication satellites that provided international broadcast services. Intelsat currently operates a fleet of 52 communication satellites, one of the largest fleet maintained by any organization as of March 2011. The IGO or Intergovernmental Organization began with a group of 11 participant countries on 28th August 1964. Intelsat's first major satellite, namely Intelsat 1, was placed in the geostationary orbit by a Delta D rocket. The geostationary orbit was above the Atlantic Ocean. The name of the IGO was changed in the year 1973, and thereafter it had 60 signatories. The organization provides communication services to around 150 countries and over 600 earth stations. The Intergovernmental Organization had around 100 members by 2001. In the same year, Intelsat was privatized and its name was changed to Intelsat. And the number of Intelsat satellites, ocean spanning fiber optic lines allow fast and immediate rerouting traffic in case of the satellite fails. New satellites made with modern technology are more robust and last longer since they have larger capacity. Intelsat America's 7, earlier known as Telstar 7 and currently it is known as Galaxy 27, was the first satellite to experience a power failure on 29th November 2004, which lasted for several days. The satellite finally resumed service with a larger capacity. The corporate headquarters of Intelsat is located in Luxembourg and contains majority of the staff and satellite functions. The administrative headquarters in Washington, D.C. with other Intelsat Corporation offices are located there. Intelsat announced in 2012 that by mid-2014, they would shift their US headquarters from Washington to nearby Tyson's Corner, Virginia. Since Intelsat is majorly an international business, it sources major chunks of its revenue from the non-US located customers. Teleport in Germany is Intelsat's biggest teleport as of now. Intelsat's spacecraft operations are controlled through ground stations that are located in Maryland, Riverside, California, and Germany. Intelsat organization was originally created in 1964 and currently has 140 member countries and more than 40 investing entities. In July 2001, Intelsat became the private company, and in May 2002, the company began providing end-to-end solutions through a network of teleports, leased fiber, and points of presence around the globe. Starting with the early bird satellite in 1965, a succession of satellites has been launched in the intervals of few years. And here you can see the evolutions of some of the Intelsat satellites. So here they have listed the year of the first launch and their prime contactor and the width, the height are all compared in this table, right? So as the figure shows, the capacity in terms of the number of voice channels increased dramatically with each succeeding launch as well as with their design lifetime. These satellites are in geostationary orbit, meaning that they appear to be stationary in relation to the Earth. At this point, it may be noted that geostationary satellites in the Earth's equatorial plane and their position is specified by their longitude. For international traffic, Intelsat covers three main regions called Atlantic Ocean region, Indian Ocean region, and Pacific Ocean region, and what is termed as Intelsat Americas region. For the ocean region, the satellites are positioned in the geostationary orbit above the circular ocean, it's a particular ocean, where they provide a transoceanic telecommunication route. For example, Intelsat satellite 905 is positioned at 335.5 degree east longitude. The Intelsat 67 series was launched over a period from October 1993 to June 1996. The construction is similar to that for 5 or 5A, 5B series, and that you can see that 7 series has solar sails rather than cylindrical body. The 7 series was planned for service in the POR and also for some of the less demanding services in AOR. The antenna beam coverage is appropriate for that of POR only. So when used in the AOR, the 7 series satellite is inverted north for south, and the lifetime of these satellites range from 10 to 15 years depending upon the launch vehicle. So recent figures of the Intelsat website give the capacity of the Intelsat 7 as 18,000 two-way telephone circuits, and 3 TV channels up to 90,000 two-way telephone circuits can be achieved with the use of digital circuit multiplication. The Intelsat 7A has a capacity of 22,500 two-way telephone circuits and 3 TV channels up to 1,12,500 two-way telephone circuits and can be achieved by the use of digital circuit multiplication. So as of May 1999, 4 satellites were in service over AR, 1 in IOR and 2 in POR. The Intelsat 7A series of satellites was launched over the period of February 1997 to June 1998. Satellites in this series have similar capacity as 7A series, and the lifetime is 14 to 17 years. It's a standard practice to have a spare satellite in orbit on high reliability routes and to have a ground spare in case of launch failure. Thus, the cost of the large international schemes can be high. For example, Series 9 represents a total investment of approximately $1 billion. $1 billion, right? And this Intelsat, the transmitting and the receiving apparatus in each country was owned by the Intelsat member, the telecommunication agency from that country. Within 10 years, the membership of Intelsat had grown to include agencies from 86 countries, and by 2001, about 150 countries were members. The consortium contracted with the US National Aeronautics and Space Administration, that is NASA, to launch its satellites. The first of these was Early Bird, later renamed as Intelsat 1, which was placed in a stationary orbit over the Atlantic Ocean at the equator in 1965. Early Bird was the first operational commercial satellite providing regular telecommunication and broadcasting services between North America and Europe. Early Bird was followed by Intelsat 2 F2 and 2 F3, launched in 1967 and covering Pacific Ocean region, and Intelsat 3 F3 launched in 1969 covering the Indian Ocean region. Intelsat's satellites in geostationary orbit provided nearly global coverage. On July 20, 1969, 19 days after Intelsat 3 F3 was placed over the Indian Ocean, the landing of first human on the moon was broadcast live through a global network of the Intelsat satellites to more than 600 million television viewers. Intelsat satellites were a key part of the global communication network during the second half of the 20th century. Many events that were watched worldwide, like the Olympic Games or the World Cup, used the Intelsat system only. The direct communication link or hotline between the White House in Washington, D.C. and Kremlin in Moscow was converted in 1978 from a terrestrial cable to a service transmitter over Intelsat satellites. In 2000, 70 countries used Intelsat for all international telecommunications. During the late 1990s, however, Intelsat was facing competition from private telecommunication companies, and its governing structure had grown unwieldy from having too many members. Therefore, Intelsat became a private company in 2001 with its public services under the oversight of Intelsat Telecommunications Satellite Organization, or ITSO, based in Washington, D.C. In 2005, Intelsat was acquired by GS Holdings Limited, a company formed by the investment firms Apax Partners, Apollo Management, Madison Dearborn Partners, and Perimda. Intelsat was then acquired in 2008 by Sarafna Holdings Limited, a company formed by the investment firms BC Partners and Silver Lake. And next, let us move on to INSat. INSat, or the Indian National Satellite System, is a series of multi-purpose geostationary satellite launched by ISRO to satisfy the telecommunications, broadcasting, meteorology, and search and rescue operations. Commissioned in 1983, INSat was the largest domestic communication system in the Asia-Pacific region. It's a joint venture of the Department of Space, Department of Telecommunication, India Meteorological Department, All India Radio and Doordarshan, and the overall coordination and management of all these Intelsat systems rests on the secretary level of INSat Coordination Committee. INSat satellites provide transponders in various bands such as C, S, extended C, Ku to serve the television and communication needs of India. Some of the satellites also have the very high resolution radiometer VHRR and CCD cameras for meteorological imaging. The satellites also incorporate transponders for receiving and distress of the alert signals for search and rescue missions in South Asian and Indian Ocean regions. Then ISRO is a member of the COSPAS Search Program. The Indian National Satellite, that is INSat system, was commissioned with the launch of INSat 1B in August 1983, and INSat 1A, the first satellite, was launched in April 1982 but could not fulfill the mission. INSat system is a revolution in India television and radio broadcasting, telecommunication and meteorological sectors. It enabled the rapid expansion of TV and modern telecommunication facilities to even the remote areas and offshore islands. INSat satellites provide transponder in various bands to serve the television and communication needs of India. And some of the satellites also have very high resolution radio meters. And the multi-purpose satellite INSat 3A was launched by Arena in April 2003. It is located 93 degrees east longitude, and the payloads on INSat 3A will be 12 normal C-band transponders, 6 Ku-band transponder, CCD with camera and data relay, and so on. Of the 24 satellites launched in the course of INSat program, 10 are still in operation. It is the last of the 5 satellites in INSat 2 series, and it carries 17 C-band and lower extended C-band transponders, providing zonal and global coverage with an effective isotropic radiated power of 36 dB watts. It also carries a very high resolution radiometer with imaging capacity in the visible 0.75 micrometer and thermal, infrared and water vapor channels, and provides 2x2 km, 8x8 km and 8x8 km ground resolution respectively. Thank you.